Hey guys, Connor from the Ticket Stub, and you are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe, and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Hello and welcome to the Ticket Stub, your favorite place for movie news and reviews. Ticket Stub drops every Thursday on all podcast platforms and Thursday at noon on 104.5 and 106.1 from beautiful Conroe, Texas. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at @_Ticket Stub. The Ticket Stub has a ticket sponsorship with the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinema. Shouts, we love you. Visit irlonestar.com for information about the show and sponsorships, or give us a call, leave a message at 936-647-3776. And don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on every podcast platform, especially Apple, because I just got a new iPhone, and so I'm feeling good about the Apple world right now.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the 10, the X, the
That's
XR.
what I got.
You got it?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I like it a lot.
Man, you guys have $1,000?
Well, no, but I have
No.
$30 a month for the next 24 months.
That's a long time.
It is a long time, but I paid my truck off, so now I've got a little extra money floating around to pay on a phone.
There you go.
My other one was literally the most shattered it could ever be, so I had to do something. And even like the old ones are like $300 still. But anyways, my name's Connor, one of the hosts of the show. Joined in studio as always, the other iPhone 10 holder in the room, Chris. How you doing, man?
Doing well.
What's going on?
Nothing much. We're done with construction. The bar is done.
The DAC check.
Yes, we got a new sign. The building's painted. It's looking pretty
Yeah,
sharp.
I was there on Sunday watching Endgame, and I was very impressed.
I was there last night watching Endgame, and I was very
Yeah.
impressed. I
Was
was
it
I was
full?
more impressed.
Was it
than
full
you.
for
Like
you?
however impressed you were, I was one.
That's
more
fine.
impressed.
There
than
you go.
Yeah.
I set my bar so low, so it's so easy. Have you not seen my wife?
Oh,
digging you all in.
And the other guy who's
She
dating his
listens-
wife is Dick. How you doing, bud?
She listens to the show, so I love you, baby.
Yeah. Oh, hey, baby. I love you, baby. I'm sorry. I
Well,
love you.
what I love is we went to go see Endgame, and I told everyone involved, like my parents and stuff, I was like, this is a 3-hour movie.
Buckle up, buttercup.
So, and this is the conversation we had, and I told her it was about 2 weeks ago, right? So we were driving in the car going to the Grand Theater, which is located in Conroe, wonderful place. And she goes, hey, is this the one where the guy shrinks? And I was like, well, he's part of it. And she's like, well, which one is this then? And I go, well, this is the sequel to Infinity War, the Avengers Infinity War that I watched a couple times before we came to come see this one. And I, offered for you to watch it with me. And she's like, I don't think I've seen that movie. And I go, well, I thought, what? She goes, well, this is the one with the small guy, right? And I'm like, yeah, or the Avengers.
All the Avengers.
All of them.
I totally get where she's coming from.
Totally.
I totally get it. I
She-
have no idea what's going on.
She
in
literally
it.
went down like 3 or 4 plots from other Marvel movies,
So was she lost?
and she didn't care.
Okay.
She's just like, well, I guess it is what it is. And I was like,
Just buy into the
yeah,
movie.
like you're gonna have a good time. Don't worry about it. But it's 3 hours long, so don't. And this is after she started work. She was working, and she's basically really tired. So I got her a soda pop, and I was like, here, wake up.
Enjoy the luxury recliners.
And the recliners were a bad idea for her because she literally goes, oh, this is great. Oh, this is great.
Cuddled up a
Hell
little
yeah.
bit.
That's what I would have done. I probably would have gone to sleep.
So
That's a good 3 hour. Hey, sometimes $10 for a 3-hour nap in a nice recliner is, just to get away from
the
everybody.
white noise of Endgame.
I don't know if it's
But I'm doing pretty good, man. I really enjoyed the new upgrades to the theater, and it's nice. The assigned seating, though, I realized there might be an issue with that.
Uh-oh. You sound like an old man right now.
No, it was more of a it was packed.
yeah, it is every
So
time. Yeah.
when tell me, do people commit where there's like, oh, there's one seat here, one seat here, one seat here? Do people go, all right, I'll sit
separating?
here? Yeah. Do people separate?
Yeah, I mean they do.
They do, because
Yeah.
I was wondering, because sometimes, especially Endgame is a kind of a unique deal because people want to see that movie. But when you're gonna go see, the Chipmunks 5, you're like, oh, I really
wait.
don't.
Can't
I mean,
wait.
it depends.
Don't really care.
It depends.
Yeah.
Some
Shipwrecked.
families won't do it. They don't want to split up. They'll
Yeah.
pick a different showtime. But we do have a lot of people that are just like, well, forget it. I'm seeing this movie. So if
Well,
you're
well,
sitting
yeah.
down front and I'm
Screw
sitting
you.
up here.
Screw
yeah.
you. Well, I mean,
So-
then you have like, oh, the kid could sit in my lap. No.
Is that legal? Is that allowed?
Yeah, if
Lap
it's,
sitters?
2 and under, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but if they're going to
Are
sit
you
in a
IDing?
seat,
This
wait,
kid's 3.5.
Where's your daycare card? No,
Do you do a gender
yeah.
test too? Because a lot of people are talking about that.
What? A gender test.
I don't think that has anything to do with this.
So we
okay.
don't know. Yeah, but
No.
no, if they're gonna sit in a seat, they have to buy a ticket because we'll sell it to somebody else.
Yeah.
So you can't just plop the kid next to you if they don't have a ticket.
But you're encouraging online purchase ahead of time.
Yes, that's the way you get to see the seating chart, pick exactly.
Well, that's why I
where
was curious to
you're
see the
sitting.
theater because I was like, this
Yeah.
movie's gonna be packed, and it was. And I mean, I sat probably in the worst seat, which is okay. I'm not complaining. I'm talking about
no bad seats. No bad seats. Yeah,
but
okay.
no, I'm talking about the bottom left,
Oh, on the front row?
front row.
Ugh.
And the reason I say that it's the distortion between this movie's big.
Yeah, very big.
So it was. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie, and I enjoyed being at the Grand.
The one good thing about the luxury recliners on the front row is that it changes your perspective
Oh, yeah.
a little bit. It's a little easier to watch when you're reclined.
And they go back further than any other theater that I have ever.
That's what I'm saying. It's a bad thing for Holly
So,
because she literally.
Unofficial endorsement. We do not know the stats.
What her-
You can almost lay flat out.
I know,
It's like
that's
when
what
you
I'm
fly
saying.
first
Holly
class
fell-
in like a really expensive airplane.
Yes.
I think Holly fell asleep like at least twice.
Yeah.
But that was because she
Well,
was
for sure.
tired.
Well, it was not crowded when I went, but I went Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. So that's
Yeah,
probably
we
not.
had 3 on a Sunday, which is probably like
that's
right
prime
church
time.
crowd.
Yeah, that's
Church
right.
crowd.
Yeah. Go see
Definitely.
church, then we'll go worship the Avengers. Well, so good stuff. And in the stew, we got some new stuff happening up in here, right?
Yeah.
The studio.
Yeah.
B is about to be done, which is going to be.
We actually started ordering things.
It's actually happening.
So,
So Dick remodeled this studio like 6 months ago, saying quickly after he was going to
You know what?
remodel Studio B, and
well,
we're finally there.
an update for some listeners. I sent an email out probably an hour to you guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because we just got updated. They're redoing our entire AC system. So we can still do our show next week. But if we want to have 0 AC, we can do the show.
we got to figure out if we're having a show or not.
It is May. It's gonna be.
Well, that's kind
Connor's a
of
sweaty boy.
That's kind of why I go, hey guys, let's just do this. Like, I'm gonna cancel this week's all the shows because we need AC.
Oh,
in
I
here.
thought the show was canceled permanently.
Oh.
I thought that's
Yeah,
what
that was like, hey,
it
we
just said all shows are canceled. I was like, well,
Hey, for 1 week we don't have
That's
AC,
not
so let's
good.
just go ahead and cancel all shows permanently from now on, especially the ticket stub. But just Chris, you just don't come. Dick and I,
I'll-
there you go.
I'll do it.
We'll text off
We'll
on the
get-
side. We
wait,
have a separate
what Chris
thread,
needs to
separate
do-
group text.
Chris brings us the daiquiris.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
except
Bring us
for-
a cooler full of daiquiris, and I like
That
that the little episode
very
you made.
illegal, but yes,
well, if you put a little piece of tape over the straw, then it's legal to transport.
not from the theater to here. It's not.
It's a
Okay.
different kind of license.
Yeah, different license.
Well, yeah, okay, what they don't know don't hurt them. Anyways, we're going to get into movie news. Later on in the show, we're going to rewind the movies that we've seen over the last week. Dick and I have already said that we saw Endgame. Chris
Yeah.
saw.
Holmes and Watson.
Oh,
Woo!
gross.
last year.
I watched the first 10 minutes of this on an airplane on the way back from my honeymoon, so I can at least comment about the first 10 minutes of it.
Yes.
And then we also are going to do a little game we like to call Plot Summary, where each of us come up with a character or an actor, actress, a title, and a location.
I got a pen, but I'm gonna need some paper for that.
Okay,
I don't
gonna
have
need
a
some
paper. I don't
papel,
have any
as
paper.
our friends to
When
the
we take a
south
break,
say.
I'll go grab some for you.
All right, cool. So let's hop into movie news. Dick, the provider of all movie news this week.
There was some really cool stuff going on.
I know. Hey, he's in this new thing where he's like sending me articles. Usually it's like one per week he'll send, which I'll always include in the show. This week it was like rapid fire. My email was like ding, 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 and it was 3 in a row from Dick of things going on. The Geeks Worldwide. You're always like, oh, where'd you find that website, Connor? Yeah, okay, Geeks Worldwide, nerd.
It's actually a pretty big website.
I've never even heard it. I'm not a nerd, so I don't know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
Yeah,
not a
it's where,
geek,
it's where I
clearly.
learn about like fan fiction about Walking
Clearly.
Dead and stuff. So this article said that Disney CEO Bob Iger says the next Star Wars film will come from David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. Anyways, if you don't know these two guys, they are the brainchildren behind Game of Thrones.
I'm so sick of hearing about Game of Thrones. Like,
You
it's
should be.
everywhere.
It is everywhere, but if you just watch it, dude, then you'll be into
I
it.
know.
But
I
now it's a
should.
little late because now the memes are probably spoiled stuff for you.
I just skip right past it.
Well, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, I'm just gonna call him Weiss. What am I, German? So these two guys are kind of like thought to be pretty genius showrunners for television, and they're gonna hand Star Wars. No, Dick, I read this article, a little bit confused, and Chris, maybe you got it better than me. So they're doing one more. The other movie's already being made, right?
So what?
They're not doing the Rise of Skywalker.
No.
They're doing
A whole trilogy.
the whole trilogy with Rain Johnson. Rain Johnson's directing it.
And what are those?
and-
Do we know what those? We don't know what
No,
they're
it was
about yet.
0. We just
Okay.
know they signed on these two jokesters to write it.
These two fools, these rapscallions, are going to be in charge of the new trilogy. So it'll be Star Wars universe, but not Luke Skywalker, not
No,
his
it's a whole
son, not his
new-
daughter,
whole
not his
new saga.
granddaughter.
There's
Nothing to do with Luke Skywalker.
What they're, I think the theory is they're going to do the Old Republic, which is like I think it's 10,000 years before
So this is like when all the Jedi
Episode
were still
1.
like rocking and rolling.
when there's the Jedi and there's the
Oh.
Sith and stuff
Okay.
like that.
That'd be pretty interesting.
So
I don't know,
They made a
episode
couple
1
games
was
on
like-
it. It's called Knights of the Old Republic. Play them; they were pretty good.
Yeah, I never did.
I hear
But
I hear Jake Lloyd's not doing anything. Maybe he can be in it.
Is that
I don't
the
think
Two and a
he's-
Half
I don't
Men
think he's
kid?
with this
No, that's the
anymore.
kid.
Who's Jake Lloyd?
Jake Lloyd, the kid from episode
Who played
1.
Anakin?
Oh,
Anakin.
but he's
Yeah.
not the same kid from Two and a Half Men.
No,
Okay.
no, it's a different kid. I forget what that kid's name is.
I think it's Jake. I don't know.
it might be.
Didn't that
Jake
kid,
is the character's name on there.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Didn't that kid
Yeah.
get like super religious and then quit the show because of Charlie Sheen's like immorality or something?
Something like
Couldn't
that.
handle
yeah.
the tiger's blood, man.
Yeah, man, it's flowing through his. It's a
Well,
good, good snow cone
well, the
flavor,
reason I sent you this article
Yes.
is the current condition or weather condition of these two writers. Everyone's
weather condition.
everyone's hating these dudes.
They're getting some. They're getting
They're
some.
getting serious flack for Game of Thrones
Yeah.
because if you don't know this, Chris, I think Game of Thrones was written originally was a book with a different title. And
five. It's actually a 5-book series.
5 books,
Yeah.
and
with
basically
2 more to
two
come.
By
seasons.
George R.R. Martin.
Yeah, so
Yes.
2 seasons ago, Chris, he didn't write any more books.
Yeah.
So they had no material to go off of. So these two guys took upon themselves to continue the story.
Well, with
Well, they seem
his
to be doing
blessing,
pretty
though.
good.
I mean, with his he was
Yeah.
working with them, but the theory is maybe they've kind of split ways and they've gone a little bit rogue.
And so they were saying the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones are complete donkey poop.
Okay, there's different opinions.
And
Some people are saying
Well, it's
that.
gone
A
downhill.
lot, from what I
So-
hear, this is like the greatest thing ever right now. This last season.
Yeah, it's been really good. So what I would say is that there's different opinions. It definitely is. It's. I think for the book readers, a lot of them are rejecting this because it's taking characters from the book and it's going in like a total left-hand
Well,
turn.
I think it's from what I understood, and this is a movie show.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, they took
We're
they
talking
had
about Benioff and Weiss.
well,
They're-
they had opportunities to have enough time, enough seasons
Yeah,
to
that's the
explain
problem.
the story, but they decided to do
the shortened.
7 episodes for season 7, 6 episodes for season 8. And the reason I wanted to talk about this on the show was, do you think enough people are going to talk trash about these two writers that Disney's going to go, maybe this wasn't such a good idea? Because
No.
what's going to happen? I guarantee there's a large population that are disappointed with these two guys.
Well, there's
So when they
there-
come
there's
out,
still the final
4 years
episode
from now,
could make a lot of impact.
Yeah,
This
right.
is the
How it
biggest
ends.
show on television.
So 4
Yeah.
years from now, when Star Wars, whatever, they start working on, almost every, the social media people are going to be like, they suck. Remember the time they ruined probably the best TV show ever?
See, I think that history is going to be kinder to Game of Thrones than in the moment. I think that when people look back, they're going to appreciate it. In the moment, it's such.
People are just going to forget it
I don't know about
because
that.
the books aren't going to ever be released.
Well, that may be true, but I
So-
don't think people. I mean, you think about the like shows like Breaking Bad and The Wire and Lost, all those kind of shows. People still remember those, and that still has relevance in pop culture and stuff like that. I think these guys are the most. I mean, I think they're probably the biggest get you could have is Benioff and Weiss right now, just because of the recognition from Game of Thrones. Like
I
how many
have to agree.
how many
I know.
But what would you
showrunners?
do-
How many showrunners do you
But
know
what
the
would
names
you do
of?
if you had a writer, and then if you go online and 80% of the conversation about your writer is negative?
Hey, it's Trump, man. Any publicity is good publicity. You know what I'm saying?
So, well, I mean,
okay, yeah. Here's what they look at: ratings,
yeah.
and they're massive. And these episodes, from what I understand,
Well, the
especially
argument
these
is-
battles and stuff.
Yeah,
it's
they're-
like the greatest thing ever.
Well, and their movie quality. I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
it's
Well,
a
no,
movie quality
the
production.
argument is they're not the ones that made it successful. And the joke is all the actors. Good thing they had all these great actors in the show because their writing was so poor. They're like, how do you deliver these lines?
yeah, Jason
if you're-
Momoa is the Academy Award winner.
Well, he died in the first season, so don't worry about it.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
know.
he had a great
Drogo.
death.
Oh, well,
yeah,
then.
kind of. I don't know. I didn't like the way that. Anyways.
Yeah, he had one of those
He got a
deaths
paper
where
cut.
he just kind of looks into the space.
Yeah, he got a paper cut and then he lost his soul.
Yeah, duh.
A few other things happened. A witch danced around him a little bit and
Game of Thrones.
cut a horse's throat.
It
But yeah,
happens.
that's the reason I wanted to talk
Yeah,
about this
no,
article.
definitely. Hey, very relevant.
is
Very
we're-
relevant.
We're in a situation where the climate can change anytime.
Yeah, climate change, man.
And-
It's real.
Well, I'm talking about
Don't
for
deny
work.
it.
I'm talking about for Hollywood.
Don't deny work climate change because that's real.
Because well, think about Disney's handling of Star Wars so far.
Yeah.
They had the Star Wars story staple, and they go, "We're not doing this anymore. We're not after Han Solo's failure, and like we're just there's too much negative press about the way we make these movies." And even in the end of Skywalker saga, they're probably going to be very careful about what they release as Star Wars canon because they got so much flack for all the Star Wars stuff they took over. It's going to be like it's not going to affect their numbers. Chris is right; like they're still making money, But as a brand overall, the value is going to be diminished if you continue making these crappy movies. And I mean, 20 years from now, they keep making the same movie as Han Solo, then people are going to be like, oh, we don't really care about Star Wars anymore.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out, but I think Benioff and Weiss are definitely big names, if nothing else. So that's good for Star Wars, and I think the movie quality they've done on Game of Thrones will translate very well to something like a Star Wars.
They didn't do that though.
But they're the like show runners. They're in charge. I mean, the directors are the ones who are like Sapochnik. They need to get that guy involved. He's the one who does all the big fight scenes. Miguel Sapochnik. But I mean, you can't say they're not in charge. It's their call.
No, they're just the writer.
They're the show runners, though.
Well,
they're not just the writer.
One thing that's important to recognize is in the industry, there's a difference between TV and film, and people who are making who's the hierarchy here.
Yeah, but it's kind of blended now.
So,
I mean, I would say that there is, but also it's changing. With miniseries, with straight to Netflix kind of stuff. With
for example,
it's all kind of and actors are crossing over.
For TV, you have different directors every episode almost.
Yeah.
But for this, you have one director working on it.
Yeah, but they're making hour-and-a-half long episodes. So I mean, that's basically a small
I think
movie.
it's going to be a failure.
Okay. Well,
I'm just looking forward to the Starbucks coffee cup in the next Star Wars movie.
There we
That's
go.
what I'm looking for.
That's all. Hey, me too, man.
Product placement.
All right, James Wan, a Variety article. James Wan produced Mortal Kombat to shoot in Australia for New Line.
Why are they making this?
That's kind of my thought.
Well, that's what I wanted to. Yeah, I was like, because there's actually been fan-made Mortal Kombats in the past 5 to 8 years. You look them out on YouTube; they're very well done. Like 10 times better than actual movies that were made in the 90s.
What I love is the first line:
And-
a new film in the hit Mortal Kombat franchise. Which I was like,
What?
I guess the video games are a hit, but the franchise of movies is not.
And those who don't know who James Wan is, he is a producer-director. He was involved with movies like Aquaman, The Conjuring, Saw, and all that kind of stuff. So it's one of those name brands that you attach to a project. And
Yeah, definitely a famous. I mean, he's a big director.
so that to me, I was like, okay, let's see how they take this.
I think if they do over-the-top violence, like where it's just way
Well, that's
heavy
curious
rated
because that's
R.
where Mortal Kombat got its notoriety.
Yeah, this needs
is
to be rated
being-
But
R.
I doubt it will be. I mean, something
Probably
like that.
PG-13, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that
It was, big news for Australia, though. That's what a lot of the article was talking about, is how it's the biggest production to ever be filmed in Southern Australia, and so they're all pumped and excited about it. I just can't imagine that people were crying out for this. It's just one more movie in the, let's not think of a creative new idea. Let's just rehash an old idea.
that is not going to be a box office hit.
Probably not. All right, last one. Variety.com. Disney assumes full control of Hulu in a deal with Comcast. So, Dick, you've been predicting that Disney was going to come out with their own streaming service, or I don't know if you were reading that or thinking that, but it seems like they're just hijacking Hulu now at this point. The article...
Well, they already announced Disney Plus, man. That's a done deal. That's coming out later this year.
So why would they do that now if they have Hulu? Why wouldn't they just integrate it?
So I was reading the internet comments and the theories. Basically, what they're trying to do, Disney's trying to do, is they're trying to control the market of the movie theater, and they're going to try to control the market of online streaming.
So they control the movie theater by putting out movies, not by owning theaters.
So for example, they can dictate when the big movies come out because they're the big movies. So when you go to the theater, they're going to be like, you know what? They're going to have these Oscar movies. We'll give you 2 months. We get the rest. And that's how. And especially when people like not smaller companies like Paramount and them, they're going to have to react to when Disney's releasing Avatar.
Because you don't want to release anything at the same time as Avatar.
And they're going to try to control the market. And the same thing with internet streaming. Like a good example is CBS Access has been around for, I think, 2 years now, and they've noticed no one's subscribing to their deal. And their next biggest show they announced is Picard is back. So Star Trek, the Picard, Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart. So they announced.
Oh, he's coming back.
So he's coming back. So they announced the series. You know what they did? That's interesting. It's not on CBS Access only. Now it's gonna be on Amazon Prime too. And I think they realize, oh hey,
we gotta bring this stuff together.
We gotta somehow get on these major streaming platforms and have our own, but Disney's going to be the same thing. They're going to produce a bunch of stuff for Disney Plus, but they're going to try to create the persona of, oh, you can find it on other stuff too. So you don't have to we're not the big bad ugly man making you subscribe just to Disney Plus.
Is 2.5 Men on CBS Plus?
I think so, probably.
I don't care. Chris?
I mean, I saw this on the news. It's how I found out they were buying Hulu, and I literally screamed out, no, because, I mean, I love Disney. Everybody loves Disney. I love Disney. They crank out great
Don't
products.
love the Aladdin movie.
But what I really am...
I'm coming around on that. I don't know why.
Where is the line of monopoly here?
Boardwalk, I think, is where the line is.
No, I know, but I mean, there's going to... At some point...
That was a pun. That was a joke.
This is all we're going to be able to get, because if they take over Hulu, there's only Amazon and Netflix.
Which are a lot bigger than Hulu.
Yeah, but...
Well, Hulu's issue is they're marketed as a live TV. That's their big deal.
Well,
they're not known
I'm
for
worried
Hulu has live sports.
I'm
they're-
worried
they're not
because
known for-
there's a lot of good stuff on Hulu, like especially like 80s sitcoms and stuff that
Yeah.
I love. That's the only place you can get them. They're not on DVD, nothing like that. But you can stream the whole series on there.
Well,
That's why
I'm
people were
worried
like,
about
don't buy
that.
DVDs because it's all streaming. That's a lie. It's
Well, one
streaming until they
thing-
pull it away from you and
Yeah.
rip your heart out.
Well, people don't realize Comcast is NBC. So all NBC shows, it's going to be interesting to see how things are filtered because Hulu was known to be their
Like
first,
old TV shows.
When Hulu first came out, their big deal was subscribe and you can actually watch it the next day.
Yeah.
So if the show was live on NBC, you can watch the show next on Hulu.
Well, Disney owns Fox, and that's competitor
now-
to NBC. So what in the world? I mean, that's what I don't understand. It's a Comcast
I
property
think
right
what
now. Hulu.
what these companies are doing is they're choosing what their distribution will be, and they're going to have partners, and they're going to figure out where are people going to watch their product. Disney, the only time Disney's going to become a monopoly is if they start opening up their own theaters.
That's
that
illegal.
you can. Well, that's just saying, like, or they come up with their own. Like, you can't really make your own DVD player now. Sony's not going to come out and make Blu-ray too. They're
Well, I
not
think
going
you
to.
could be a monopoly if you owned most of the streaming access.
Yeah,
you know, I mean that would be a
But they definitely don't. They
well, not yet.
definitely
No,
don't.
but they're making
So-
moves. I think is Chris's point. They're headed in that direction. They own the biggest movie franchises. They own now Hulu, which is a definite competitor. But if you pour gasoline on that fire, it could become, you know, if all of a sudden that's the only place you can get Disney streaming is Hulu. You don't think Hulu subscriptions are going to go up with families with little kids,
Well,
things like that?
My theory, what they're doing with the Hulu control is ABC is owned Disney, they're sister companies or whatever. It's going to be ABC's main platform for streaming. Hulu's going to turn into that. And then Disney Plus subscribers are going to get a discount to Hulu. Hulu's going to get a discount to Disney Plus subscribers. And I think a lot of those, that's the marriage right there. ABC now has their streaming platform. They don't have to build a CBS access.
Well, right now they own 2 of the major 4 television networks.
Fox and ABC.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot,
No,
man.
I don't think they own Fox News and stuff. I don't think they own
Not
that.
the news, but they own the channel.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They own ESPN.
So
Yeah, that's part of
ABC.
ABC.
Okay,
So-
well, like, whatever. It's all part of that. Whatever.
Yeah.
Don't call me out like that, Chris. All right, let's go to
But
break.
it's always been that way, though.
You're an idiot. Yeah, you're stupid. Yeah, Bob Iger. What a loser. Let's go to break. When we come back.
We love Disney.
Yeah, we love Disney and Bob Iger. When we come back from break, we're going to do the rewinds, the Holmes and Watson, and Endgame. And then we're going to play a game called Plot Summery, where we give each other titles, characters, locations, and we come up with what the plot of that should be. So stick with us here on the Ticket Stub.
The Ticket Stub is sponsored by the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinemas.
With 18 locations around the country, the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinemas bring you the latest and state-of-the-art projection and sound.
including Fathom Events and Flashback Cinema.
Did you know your local Grand or Amstar Cinema serves a wide variety of adult beverages?
And some even have a full bar.
And moms, they didn't forget about you. They also have a large selection of wine to help you get through those kids' movies.
Visit your local Grand or Amstar Cinema today.
Does volunteering at a nonprofit horse sanctuary sound wonderful? Or are you a veteran or a veteran spouse and think trying a peer group session through a local Horses and Heroes equine program might be worth trying? Henry's Home Horse and Human Sanctuary, located in Grand Central Park by appointment only, is home to a growing number of rescued and donated horses. Visit our website at henryshomehorsesanctuary.org or check out our Facebook at Henry's Home Horse and Human Sanctuary for more information.
Don't miss Lone Star Community Radio on TV and YouTube. Our talk show and music shows are featured on Our City TV, Suddenlink Channel 12, and have their own YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to keep up with posted shows and comment on them below the video.
Health Center Southeast Texas is a federally qualified health center. We accept Medicare, Medicaid, and most major private insurances. For our self-pay patients, we have a sliding scale discount program available. Our health centers have qualified providers and staff striving every day to provide the best quality of care to our patients. Services offered are family medicine, behavioral health services, telepsychiatry, and pediatrics. We have 4 area locations. Look up the Health Center Southeast Texas online at hcset.com.
Don't forget to download the Lone Star Community Radio app for your Google Play or Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM. That is Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1.
back on the Ticket Stub. If you missed this last segment, we talked about Disney and how they're getting Benioff and Weiss to do Star Wars. Also about how they're taking over Hulu. Not a monopoly, don't worry, but they're ever growing their power. And then there's a new Mortal Kombat movie, and we don't seem to really care that much. Now we're gonna do the rewinds. This is the part of the show where we talk about the movies that we've seen over the last week. Dick and I both saw Endgame, so we'll talk about that in just a second. But Chris, we're gonna start with you. Holmes and Watson.
I'm the odd man out here.
That's right. You're the weirdo that didn't see Endgame.
Yeah. Well, I saw Holmes and Watson.
Woo!
This is from last year with John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell, where Will Ferrell plays Sherlock Holmes and John C. Reilly is Watson. And they are really, I don't even know what the plot was, first of all.
Well, did they solve a crime?
Professor Moriarty, the legendary Moriarty, who's always Sherlock Holmes' nemesis, is supposedly going to kill the queen. So they got to solve the mystery of that. And, you know, usually I do rapid fire movie review.
Yeah, I was kind of excited for this one.
I don't have that this week, but I will just say this. What a piece of crap that movie is.
It's 3.8 out of 10 on IMDb.
Seriously.
There's no movie that's like, everything's like at least 5.
Everybody said it was bad. And I was like, you know, I kind of can watch those guys and laugh and stuff. And I will tell you this. It was not the actors. It was not the script. It was the editing.
Okay.
Was the problem with that movie. The editing was bad, and it just ruined all the jokes.
Huh.
Like with the timing, and there were too many cuts like between punchlines and stuff, and so you kind of just like missed what the joke was. You're just sitting there like, what just happened? And what?
Okay.
Now I will say this: the first 3/4 of it is awful, but
then it gets just really bad.
you know, no, it actually the last probably 45 minutes of it is pretty entertaining.
Okay, so I started this on an airplane on the flight back from my honeymoon, and I did not make it very far because there was a couple other movies I kind of wanted to watch, and I was like, oh, I'll try this one and see if I like it, and if not, I'll switch to the other movie. So I definitely switched. It wasn't that good. There was the one funny part I remember is, I forget which one it even is like petting this gourd that he's been growing. Like he has this garden, he has this giant like eggplant-sized gourd, and the other one's up on the roof like swatting a fly or something, or I don't even remember what he's doing. And of course, he falls off the roof and breaks into the gourd. And that part was actually the only part that was even like remotely humorous in the first 10 to 15
There were
minutes.
a couple of parts that were pretty funny because those guys are just funny, just improvising. There's one part where Will Ferrell's trying to talk to his brother, but they're not speaking. They're just like speaking telepathically.
Okay.
And John C. Reilly tries to break in on that. And you just hear Will Ferrell and his brother like talking normally. And John C. Reilly's like, I'm speaking. It's very funny. You know, because he doesn't know how to do it. So it's like speaking words.
So how come those two guys? I mean, I guess when the script's not there and it's edited poorly, no matter how funny you are, you just can't overcome that.
Well, you can't overcome bad editing. No, you can't.
Yeah.
Or bad directing. It just
Because in the scene, it might have been funny as they were doing.
I'm
things.
sure it was hilarious. Yeah.
And they probably that would be frustrating as an actor if you felt like you were like really funny and everybody all day was laughing, and then you go to actually watch it and it's just like flat and bad. And well, what can you do? I guess that's why actors are so careful about who they choose to work with.
Yeah, Ray Fiennes played Moriarty, and I really wanted him to be in it more. Like there really was never a confrontation between those guys.
Yeah, it probably wasn't a real big action thriller.
No, and they set it up for a sequel, and I was like, that's not happening at all. So, yeah, really rough, not their best, by far the worst of their movies that they've done together. So I would skip it, pretend it didn't happen, and let's wait for the next one.
Yeah, or if you're on an airplane and bored, you can watch the
hopefully
first
they
10
learn
minutes.
from it.
Well,
I mean, think about how
the
many
guy that
movies,
edited it
they made
definitely will.
together. 5.
Probably 4, yeah, something like that.
So you think there's a winning combination of things going on because they are successful movies.
Oh yeah.
So how is this one?
That's what
Given
that's what
the
I'm saying.
same
Must
setup.
be the people in charge.
One thing I did notice at the beginning, there were so many studios. It was like studio logo, studio logo, studio
maybe
logo.
it changed hands a bunch of times
Studio
or
logo.
something.
Well, no, I just think there's too many cooks in the kitchen, maybe with that. So it was like that Family Guy joke. They're sitting in the theater and just they think the movie's starting, but it just keeps movie logos keep coming up, and that's exactly what this was. So,
all right,
a lot of studios. to
Stay
get that
away.
made, so.
Stay away.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we saw Dick and I
Endgame.
Avengers Endgame. If you haven't heard of this movie, you do not care about movies. This is
That's kind of rude.
That's not rude. That is factual. You do not care about movies if you have not heard of Avengers Endgame. Even if you don't like Avengers, if you like are ever on a website, I mean, IMDb, like literally, Chris, look at this right here. Like, is all you can
Oh my
see
gosh.
is Avengers Endgame stuff all around it.
Yeah.
So this is in theaters right now. It is directed by the Russo brothers. It's PG-13. It is a short 3 hours and 1 minute long.
Did they direct Infinity War?
They directed Infinity
Yes,
War,
yeah.
Captain America,
Several.
Civil War, and Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and things like that.
So what I would say
they've
is
been a
that-
part of it.
Yeah, the Captain America Civil War and Infinity War are probably the two most pivotal movies to this. I mean, Infinity War obviously being the one before. Captain America Civil War was really where the Avengers kind of like broke off or whatever and kind of splintered. And anyways, so
Well,
they've been pretty critical to this whole buildup.
But also to give you before Marvel, they did You, Me, and Dupree and Welcome to Collinwood, which, I mean, they're movies.
Okay.
So
well, they are in fact movies.
I just want to give you an idea because you can't just say, oh, they're just really big Marvel people.
So the 3 hour runtime may be enough to scare off a casual Marvel fan.
It did not feel like 3
It
hours.
did not feel like 3 hours. I will say that. You told me that, Dick, when I texted you I was going to go see it. I went at 8:30 at night, which means that we were going to get out of the theater around midnight, give or take, after previews. I was a little bit turned off by that, but I wanted to see it in time for the show today. And then Dick said that it doesn't feel like 3 hours. Another friend told me it doesn't feel like 3 hours. I went. And in fact, it doesn't really feel like 3 hours. And they did a good job. Some of these movies, when you have such a big cast, it drags because you're hopping from person to person to person to person. You have to tell everybody's story. The good thing here is they've done all the groundwork for every character that's involved. I mean, you know them
You even
already.
forgot about them. I forgot. And then oh, yeah, they're here.
There's so many. And the other good thing is in Infinity War, they killed half of them. So they weeded out half of the people that they'd have to spend time with in Infinity War. And so it was less, and they were able to just purely focus on the task at hand, which was there's a possible chance that they could bring back all of the people that got finger snapped by Thanos at the end of Infinity War. And they come up with this plot, and it's all about them trying to execute it and everything like that. One thing I was surprised by, there really wasn't that much action until like 2 hours and 30 minutes into this thing. I mean, it was very plot driven and action driven or character driven.
It was almost like they knew what they wanted to do, and they basically had to say, pick one. You want all action, or do you want to bring nostalgic back? Because they went back in time in different groups
To all the different movies.
to different
Yeah.
movies. So it was really cool to
That was
see
cool.
that.
I like that a lot.
And it was, and then that's why I made it go by so fast. Is you knew where they were, so you're engaged in every scene. You're like, oh, they're back on Thor's planet. And they even tell you like title card 2014, 2012, and like so you're like, oh, cool, I remember this.
I wish they would have. This would have been so pulling you out of the movie. I wish they would have said like Thor 2, or whatever, like so you knew exactly which movie you were supposed to be going into. I mean, okay, Thor 2014.
Well, there was a couple jokes that I didn't get.
Yeah.
And
Were the nerds around you losing it?
No, actually, our
Every
people here were quiet
every
here in
now
our
and then you-
theater.
every
I was
now and then
very
you hear
happy
it.
about that.
Or you hear the guy go, "That's actually Stan Lee, and he's in all. He makes a cameo and all the, like the nerd explaining to his girlfriend who's
No,
One thing, whenever I have to go upstairs in projection, I'll look down at Endgame, and towards the end, it's funny because everybody's reclined, but then you just see when something cool happens, it's like feet start kicking, like people get excited.
like giddy.
Yeah, it's really funny to watch.
I think what's important for a review, let's just say right now, like some spoilers are going to come up. But
Okay.
I would say this movie, if you're an Avengers person, go see it. It's fun.
Definitely. You have to.
It's
You have
definitely,
to.
it's a passing of the torch, which is nice because hopefully there's hope in the future of a rebrand or kind of a resurgence of something different.
Yeah.
And so there's that. I mean, it's good. Go see it.
So-
Go see it in theaters.
Yeah, and Captain America and Iron Man have been the like anchor characters, I would say. I mean, even in Civil War when they split off, it was like Iron Man and his buddies went this way, Captain America and his buddies went this way. And hit the 15-second skip ahead here or turn the volume down. Both those guys don't make it through the end of this movie. Captain America kind of ages out. Iron Man does something sacrificial. So they definitely are making a statement with that to say that. Also, I'm sure that Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans are like, get me out of this franchise.
No.
Yes.
Chris Evans is.
Oh, definitely. They're so tired of making these movies. I know that $20 million a piece or whatever, but they got more money than they know what to do with.
Well,
They
see,
wanna
what's nice about their setup is now they can just make appearances.
But now they're gone though. They're done.
What, like at a mall?
Well, no. Like the jokes they make in the other movies where Captain America's making a PSA.
Yeah.
Like he can make an appearance where he's still part of the world. And then like Robert Downey Jr.'s character, heck yeah, like he could definitely be in flashbacks and stuff.
I think they're done. I think they're gone.
So-
I don't think they want to do it anymore. It's just they've
Why would
given.
the actor? I mean, if someone's giving you $5 million to be working for a weekend, you think they're gonna say no?
I think actors do it all the time. I think these famous people get tired of these franchises.
And everything is green screen now. You just go to the
Yeah, that's
studio.
what I'm saying. They're gonna be back in it. But they're not gonna have Iron Man 4.
It's not like you gotta
No,
fly-
I
So-
don't think so. I think they're done. I think this was a good way to send them off, and I just think that they're going to be. I think they're going to shift the focus somewhere else.
But wouldn't you guys say this without revealing too much? The ending
We're gonna reveal something.
very, very predictable.
Yeah, I mean the ending.
Yeah.
It ends.
Well, the end doesn't even make any sense to me. I still don't really understand. That's why I wanted to talk to Connor about, because there's some like the time travel element really screwed with my
A lot of time travel.
because like for number one, I would love a listener to explain this. So when the snap happens and they come back from the snap, it's still 5 years later.
Yeah, they just were gone for
so
5 years.
did they age for 5 years, or like Peter Parker, for example, would be out of high school, and he comes back 5 years later. So is he still in high school?
Oh, and he does go back to high school, and his friend's still in high
Yeah,
school.
so I was kinda
that part
like,
doesn't
so
make sense.
they're
maybe it was
hanging-
like a college that looked kind of like a high school.
I don't really
or-
know, and so I was
Or his
wondering
friend
that
failed a few
because that didn't
times.
really make a lot of sense to me. And then the two endings to explain the power of the gauntlet. So are they telling me that there's only certain races of people can handle the power
I
of
think
the
it's about
gauntlet?
how powerful you are as like a being or whatever.
Well,
Not-
because
not
when
races.
Thanos clicked the first time from Infinity War, he didn't look injured at all.
No, but he was the most powerful guy in the universe. I guess,
And then
or
when
whatever.
Hulk did it,
kind of jacked him
he
up.
got jacked up.
Yeah,
And then when Robert Downey Jr.'s character did it, he died.
yeah.
So I'm thinking like, okay, what's really going on with this thing? And I did not get that at all.
Yeah, I mean, this
And-
was not a perfectly written and reasoned movie. Definitely, the time travel stuff
It
got confusing.
Explain to me if you remember the scene during the huge battle. They're trying to get the gauntlet from point A to point B, which is the time travel machine.
Yeah.
What was their goal there?
They have to take all the stones back to the time where they took them from,
And so basically,
or else it'll
from-
create alternate
so
timelines
they're
or whatever.
they're doing that right, and then that's when for some reason Tony Stark's like, I need to do it. I need to snap again.
I think because he knew that he looked at the
Why did he need to
Strange
snap
Man.
again? Is what I'm trying to go
I
with.
think he realized that if they didn't kill the bad guys, they weren't going to succeed.
So there's two snaps, so the gauntlet can keep snapping all at
You
once.
can, I think every time you snap, which snapping is kind of like a very. What if it was like an infinity boot or something? I mean, like I don't know why it has to be
Well, that-
snapping, but
well,
it's,
you die apparently every time you snap. That's what I'm trying to understand. Like,
Yeah.
I can understand if you're trying to destroy the stones because
See,
that's what
I thought.
the
The,
opening
I thought the
scene.
snap was just for like dramatic effect, but then they kept like one they'd be wearing it and not snapping, and it wouldn't do anything. And it's like, well, what's the magic of snapping? But the second time he snapped was to wipe out the bad dudes.
Okay, and then after
This is our most spoilerific review we've ever done.
well, no, it's fine. They need to see the movie.
Well, now they don't.
But then another thing I did not understand, I would love a listener to explain this to me, is it was explained in simple terms that they went back in time and different timelines were created if they took these stones and did not return them, right?
That's why they had to return them back. Yeah, at the end.
So you're telling me Captain America went back in time with the stones
To each time.
and he stayed there.
No, I think he went back to each of the different times, and then he went back to like 1945 or whatever, and got with his girlfriend.
He just never came back. So you're telling me the woman who kissed him later in the show was his daughter?
No, that was his wife.
No, because there's a joke because in the later he meets Peggy's kids, and one of them kisses. They kiss.
In this movie,
Yeah, like Luke Skywalker and
Luke
Princess
Skywalker.
Leia.
What are you talking
No,
about?
it's like a Luke Skywalker Princess Leia kiss
Oh.
where they're like they didn't know they're
The girl he was dancing with at the very end
that's
was
Peggy.
that's the girl he fell in love with.
Yes, but
Yeah.
in other movies,
Okay, well, I don't
you
remember.
meet Peggy's family,
Well, maybe so.
and it turns out one of the secret agents is Peggy's daughter who kisses him.
My head is about to
Well,
explode.
and so we gotta wrap this review up.
So
but,
did he
but
kiss his daughter?
I don't know, dude. I don't remember what you're talking about. My biggest issue
Ralph,
with this whole franchise is that it's impossible to keep track of everything. And so I came into this. I rewatched part of Infinity War.
Granddaughter, sorry, or niece. I'm looking it up right now.
Okay, I believe you. I just don't remember it. The hardest part of this is you come into these movies and they expect you to be juggling the timelines of all these different movies, all these different characters. Wait, why is Bucky mad at Captain America? And where did Black Widow come from? And what's even the name of the girl with the red hands that she can shoot red stuff out? And how powerful is Captain Marvel versus how powerful is Thanos? I thought Thor was a god who could shoot lightning
They
bolts
didn't
at
really
people,
explain
but
that.
sometimes he would get beat and then sometimes he would win. all of a sudden Captain America can wield Thor's hammer. What's that all about?
Do you remember the character in Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Civil War who was played by Emily Van Camp? She was the neighbor.
No,
See,
I don't know.
She was the neighbor.
No, I don't.
To Captain America,
Okay.
and she did the laundry. You know,
I really those movies.
y'all don't remember that at all.
No, but that's his
The,
granddaughter.
the laundry scene?
Yeah, like where they try to kill Captain America in this apartment, and she luckily was next door, and she had a gun, and you're like, "Who are you?" It's like, "Oh, actually, I've been hired to follow you to make sure you're okay because I work for Shield."
Yeah,
It
those
was
are-
a blonde lady.
Yeah, it's kind of a blur.
Here, I'll show you a picture.
Okay, well, we don't really have time. We got to go to break
No,
again.
we have time. I'm in charge. So here, I'm pulling it up right now for you to look at. So this lady right here. Do you remember her at all?
You're going to have to full screen that. I can't see it.
It looks like Captain Marvel. Who is that?
It's this blonde lady.
No, I do not remember her. No. The Captain America movies are not the most fresh in my mind.
Okay.
Oh, that dude, Martin Freed.
So yeah, she's in this movie, and she turns out to be like the niece or the granddaughter of Peggy.
Okay.
So he definitely kissed his relative.
Okay. And so, like a romantic kiss?
Because they stayed in that same timeline, right? That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, but then he goes back in time and
The same timeline, though.
Yeah.
Because he's old at the end of the movie. So he clearly is in the same timeline.
Yeah.
So he definitely kissed his daughter. Or granddaughter.
He's very obsessed with incest.
Yeah, seriously, you're really into this right
Well,
now.
I mean, Game of Thrones is my thing, man.
So you're saying that when he was old, when he was young in the present, he kissed his niece, and then he goes back in
Yeah.
time and then births children and
With Peggy, clearly.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing I
How much of a
explained.
kiss? What it was like a peck?
No,
or
it
was
was like,
a
it was the first time he kissed somebody and goes, "Oh, I can move on," because I found somebody outside Peggy.
Oh, so he like tongued her? Like he,
Yeah, like I'm telling you,
Oh.
it's a Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker kiss.
Goodness.
Okay. Well, as long as you don't know you're related, it's not bad. That's what I've
Is
learned.
that
from
is that what
things.
is that what you learned from Game of Thrones?
That's the rule in my family.
In our family, we just don't talk about who's related to who, and then it's a wide open pool.
So sorry to spoil the movie. I was just curious if you're a listener, you know the answers to these questions. Please help me
Mostly
out.
the niece thing. Yeah, mostly that's what we should really focus
Because
on.
It's clearly what the most important issue is.
Well, because it threw me off with their logic. Like, oh, if you take the stone, it's going to start a different universe, and if you put it back, it'll put it back to stability of the universe, and you'll be in the same. Okay, I was like, wait a second. So he totally kisses his daughter.
Well,
or
so the other
granddaughter,
thing,
niece.
we don't have time for plot summary, so we'll play that next week or something. One more thing about this. What we just done. I mean, if you're somebody that hasn't seen these movies, Dick, is there any reason to go see Avengers Endgame if you have not seen
any Marvel movies?
Let's start with any, and then let's go to some, and then we'll go. We'll do both.
I would say no, don't go see it because a lot of the throwbacks. This is a huge throwback movie. That's
Yeah.
all it is. This is one big giant throwback. You see actors that were in the other ones that you would never expect to see, which I really liked, and it kind of gave you more of a foundation of the whole series. Like, oh, these people do matter, even though their on-screen time is, 10 minutes total. But I like that. I liked it. It's a nice bookend to the whole series, and hopefully the next thing is a little better.
Well, I pretty much have not seen any of them.
Okay.
And I did see Infinity War, and I was kind of confused in the beginning of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
but towards the end, I kind of like got the deal. So I think if you've seen Infinity War, you're totally cool to see this one.
that's
Oh,
probably
yeah.
that's probably fair.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you won't get everything.
I mean, Holly got it.
Yeah, you won't get everything. There's a lot that you're going to miss in the subtle stuff, but the main plot you'll understand, which is there's the stones, there's the bad guy, time traveling, trying to bring back their friends from the dead or whatever else it is. So I guess you'll be able to hang with that part of the plot for sure. But again, speaking to the characters, it's like some of these characters I didn't even remember that they were in the Avengers movie. Like I couldn't remember what movie they were in. Like Anthony Mackie shows up at one point.
Yeah, he's like been 4 movies.
But who's he affiliated with? I couldn't.
Oh, he was originally in the Captain America series,
The
and then
Falcon,
he
right?
was the Falcon, and then he was in Ant-Man and the Wasp, or Ant-Man, the original Ant-Man, and then he was in the Avengers movies, of course. And then I think Winter Soldier, and
I guess I just need to go at some point when I have like 48 hours and just rewatch all of these like in a marathon style. And
well, I'm just curious what they decide to do for the future because, for example, their next Marvel movies come out in July is Spider-Man: Far From Home, and that's if you didn't know they made a spoiler trailer because they were like, oh hey, we have to tell people the real plot to this movie because before Endgame they didn't want to reveal what the real plot to the movie.
yeah,
And so now it shows you that Tony Stark has died and all this other stuff. And I was like, all right, so it's a 5-year thing. Hopefully they answer that question in that movie. So is he 5 years later. He's clearly going to Europe for school, and
Oh, he's in college now.
Well-
Finally graduated.
well, no, and then they did it again. They opened up a multiverse conundrum. That's the plot of the movie. Is Morbius is from another dimension, and
Weird.
I'm like, man, here we go.
Yeah, we're getting super deep now.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I thought was funny is, so if everybody had been disappeared for 5 years and you just showed back up, like, do you just get to own your house again? Like, what about your car? What about like all your clothes? I mean, there's these movies don't address some of the hard-hitting questions. Like, what do you do when 3 billion people disappear for 5 years and then reappear all at the same time? Where do they reappear? What if they are like appear in the same, like on top of, I mean, how do you feed them all of a sudden? We haven't been producing food for 6 billion people this whole time. We've been producing for 3 billion.
Well, I don't.
Oil production has gone way down.
Well, first we're doing a movie, so you can kind of do what you want. And
Yeah,
just
you don't,
go
have to,
with
yeah, you
it.
don't have to follow the rules.
But I think that was kind of an element too. When you bring those kind of elements to a story, you're going like, all right, let's do a grand scheme thing. Let's get rid of 3 billion people. You got to be able to follow up with something, because you can't, like you said, like they kind of give you a little hint that everyone's just depressed. It's been 5 years. Everyone's just sad. Like the support group scene with Captain America made no sense to me.
Yeah,
Because
I guess he's
if
like a
you could be
counselor.
if you could be in a support group with Captain America, wouldn't you be in it?
I'd be like,
There's
"Dude,
only
what's up,
like
Cap?"
8 people in it. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, there would be like hundreds of people.
Maybe it's
on the set.
underground support. group.
So, well, I mean, no, it wasn't. There was just normal people. That was the whole thing. And I go, man, there'd be so many more people in that to hang out with Captain America. But
All right, well, let's talk for a little bit about Flash Gordon. That's our group rewind for the month of May. So
on the 30th.
on May the 30th. So Flash Gordon, for those who haven't seen Flash Gordon, which includes me, Chris, have you seen this movie?
A long time ago, I did.
Yeah.
But I think if you're going to watch Flash Gordon, you should watch Ted 1 and 2
Beforehand?
beforehand.
Are they?
Because he's in it. The Flash Gordon guy's in it. And that's like their favorite actor.
Oh, that's
So
right.
that's
yeah.
kind of cool.
Okay. Yeah, because in the movie they reference Flash, like, isn't that right? They reference Flash Gordon all the
Yeah.
time throughout those movies.
Yep.
See, it's been so long since I've seen those either that it's been, anyways. So I'm looking up right now if it's streaming anywhere, how we're going to get to
I
see
couldn't
this.
find it, but one thing you could do is go to your local library.
It's on Amazon, doesn't it say right there?
Buy on Amazon. You can rent on Microsoft Video, whatever
cool.
that is, for $3.99.
But yeah, I think
Surely you can rent that on Amazon.
It doesn't say that you can. But Flash Gordon, so we're doing this at the end of the month. So what we want is for everybody listening, figure out, go to your local library, go on Amazon, go on Microsoft, whatever it is, or buy it, or find it on YouTube, or however you want to watch it. It's about a football player and his friends who travel to the planet Mongo, find themselves fighting the tyranny of Ming the Merciless to save Earth. This actually sounds kind of like the Avengers, It's not that.
Yeah, I think it is.
Not that different.
There
The-
wouldn't be Avengers without Flash Gordon.
the
That's
original,
probably true.
the original Avengers. No, this movie, was it supposed to be bad? Did they think they were making a good movie? Isn't it real bad? Isn't that the whole point? Like why people like it?
I don't think it's bad.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it is.
I thought it was like one of those movies people like to laugh at or whatever, but it's actually good.
Well, what's the rating? What's it say?
6.5 out of 10. Dick,
That's
have you seen
pretty
this
good.
movie?
no,
No.
kind of excited.
Okay, so it's hour 51 rated PG.
What's the RT score? Check that. Does it have that
yeah,
on
they don't put that on this one because they're haters.
there? Oh.
But I'll look it up real quick.
But 6.5 is pretty good on IMDb.
Yeah, I mean Holmes and Watson was 3.8, so it's
There you go. Well, I'll like this more than
it's
that.
at least about twice as good. Oh, it's 82% on the thermometer.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. That's
69
really good.
69% of audience. Dude, this dude's jacked.
Yeah.
Flash?
Flash Gordon. Cool.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, what are we gonna watch for next week? Oh, wait a minute. We may not be having a show next
we're
week
not
because
having
the
one
air
next week.
conditioner's broken. So does that mean the next show is the
It could be Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon?
We'll keep you updated on our Facebook.
Okay, we'll keep you. We were gonna do plot summary. Maybe we'll save that for our group rewind just to do it real quick, just as a little change of pace, so it's not all.
I'll
the
watch
group
John
rewind.
Carter. That was going to be my next movie.
John Carter, from Mars.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, is that Taylor Kitsch?
Mm-hmm.
It's available on Netflix. Check it out. It's awesome.
God, that movie's no, it's not.
awesome.
That's probably 3 hours long, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
Something like that.
Wonderful
Pretty long.
story.
Yeah, wonderful.
fun.
Love story. Can he jump really high?
Yeah.
What's his deal? He's a human or something, but
yeah. His bone density is different because on Mars it's different. Gravity's different there, bro.
bone density.
But they didn't. What I love is they try to do that in that movie. They're like, "Oh, it's just bone density," and I go, "Well, no one explains how there's humans on Mars, but there's humans."
We don't have to worry about that part. Just the bone density is the only thing we have to worry about. All right, cool. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Make sure you're sharing with a friend. Engage us on social media if you want a chance to win 2 tickets to the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinema that we give away every single week. Also, if you got something you'd like us to talk about, a movie you want us to review, maybe a group rewind we could do. We're doing Flash Gordon, but after that or in the coming weeks, we'd love to hear all that at @the_ticket stub on Twitter. Again, tell a friend, rate and review the show. We love you guys. Thanks for listening. For Dick, for Chris, my name is Connor. Signing off on the Ticket Stub.
Repeat, this is not a drill.
Thanks for checking out this show on Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station. This show is owned and produced by Lone Star Community Radio and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. For more information about the show, to be a guest, or to sponsor, just contact the studio at 936-647-3776 to leave a message, or email us at lscrstudios@gmail.com.